Yep. A lemon and watermelon all in one. Pretty good. Anyway, so we're back in the big shop today, and what we have to do, we have to fix an issue that was going on since last year. Not with this truck, but with our little race truck there. We went through a lot of drive shafts. Absolutely tons of drive shafts, but it's always been a hanger bearing drive shaft, 2-piece drive line. We're gonna see if we can get rid of that and make a slip shaft drive line system that's just from point A to point B, get rid of the hanger bearing altogether. And in order to do that, we're gonna try to use used parts, AKA the old drive shaft pieces from the 2-piece drive shaft to make a 1-piece. I already got my measurement. Let's see if we can get it done. Welcome to IO Stable Garage. So these are my candidates right here. We got the main drive line. This is the 2-piece that was inside. Kept blowing out the hanger bearing and the rear shaft, all that stuff. We got our donor shaft that we're gonna be using its tube from. And here we got an 8.8 flange. We're gonna be using that 8.8 flange for our whole drive shaft setup. So let's move all these guys to the table over there because we gotta do some measuring, we gotta do some cutting. Let's get at it. All right, so I got this fella in the vise here. If we were gonna do new U-joints, I wouldn't even be doing this step, but this U-joint's a fairly new joint, so we're gonna press him out. That way, you can save a little bit of money. He's perfectly fine. There we go. Flip it. That little fella out. Now we're gonna press them through. Now you're gonna pull this bottom cap off right here. Pull him off. We'll set him to the side. Gotta flip your shaft back over, and you're gonna press it back the other way. So we got 2 good caps, and now we'll pull out our trunnion, and there you go. We have a perfectly good U-joint. So we will be adding that onto one part of this drive shaft for sure. All right, so now we have this piece here. This used to be the piece of the slip, and it came basically off the hanger bearing. The hanger bearing used to be here. On a 1-piece drive line, this comes right off the transmission if it's a U-joint on the back of the trans, and then your slip is directly after. So that's how we're gonna model this drive shaft. We're gonna model it after an actual, 1-piece drive line. So this guy has to come out. All right, so the last one, we got to pull these 2 guys right here. We'll do it in the vise. So I took this joint out to show you guys something. This is the joint size that they used for this flange, went here, and then the transmission was bolted right here. That was the joint to this. As you can see, 4 are the same size. Now this one, however, I took them out because I wanted to show you guys, plus I wanted to double make sure it was the exact same size. This yoke, our plan is, again, this yoke's gonna bolt directly to the transmission at this point, but I noticed there was a conversion joint in it. By conversion joint, I mean this. If you look, this cap and this cap, exact same size, exact same spec. But this cap and this cap, not the same spec. It jumps up a drastic size because the rest of this shaft is built F250 spec. So it's using, I believe it's a 905 or a 903 Moog joint. I can't remember exactly. But either way, this guy is the F250 spec, and then this is the joint that we have to bolt to the transmission. So I'm happy that this joint survived. This joint is gonna go back in here, and we're gonna build the rest of the shaft off this guy. The rest of the shaft should just be F250 joints, but we'll see in a second. So let me clean this guy up a little bit, make sure his trunnions, all that stuff are okay, I'm going to press him back into here because we can actually work with him from there. So the reason why we're going to swap him is because this joint right here won't bolt to the transmission, but this 4-bolt one will. So this guy right here, all the same size, we're going to place him inside here, and then our transmission will bolt directly onto this guy. Easy peasy. So again, it goes fairly similar to installation. You take your caps off and expose your trunnions, like so. Put your fella in the vise, all right? He goes inside here, just like so, and then your 2 caps, you'll feed in, just like that guy. I like to seat one. And then press him in. Then you put your collar cap, which is this guy right here. There's a specific name for it, snap ring, whatever. Put him in there. Here we go, he's in. So now we're gonna take it, we're gonna flip it, then we're gonna take this guy, we're gonna lift him up slightly. And there we go. Now, we press him in. Tighten that guy up just a little bit more, because we're gonna have to actually hit it now. There we go. Put our other snap ring in. There we go. And what I like to do is I like to flip them back over and give this side just a little tap, kind of equalize both sides out. There. All right, so now we have our side for our transmission done. This guy's gonna bolt directly to the trans, and then we're gonna build the shaft outwards from here on in. So now that we got this guy, we'll put him off to the side. We don't need him right now. So I got the other drive shaft out. What we're gonna do, we're gonna press this side out here because we gotta move this 8.8 flange cap and all that good stuff over to the other drive shaft. This U-joint's still okay. We're gonna reuse him. But these snap rings are likely gonna be seized in. Either way, we're gonna work with them a little bit, see what we can do. I wouldn't recommend this part if you're gonna save this yoke here, but we're not. So, I'm just gonna heat them up a little bit, help that joint come out of there. Alright, so this should be one of the last U-joints that we have to do for a little bit. We're gonna blow this fella out, and then we're gonna replace it with the joint that we just took out of the other shaft and put him here. So this is roughly what we have to do here. See this guy right here? This is the 2 pieces of the spline. Hanger bearing used to be here. And then this would have went to the drive shaft. What we're doing now is this guy is bolted directly to the transmission. This guy is welded to the shaft. The slip is now here. And this is bolted to the rear end. That's the new system. So I cut this guy preemptively for you guys at the very beginning, so you can kind of see how this guy's made. It's just a collar. Basically, this tube is just a collar that slides over here, and then it's cap welded on the back. So I'm just gonna bang this guy off here, and we have the little bearing piece there. We might even get rid of that, don't know yet. And then we gotta gouge out this guy here and separate this shaft here. A little bit of heat, that kind of stuff. Clean this guy up, and then slide the two together. Easy peasy. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to be doing. Let's get at it. All right, so we got it pretty trued up there. We did the old cap rock technique. Then we spun it on this table back and forth, kind of eyeballing to see what's going on, kind of adjusted with the hammer there. Very, very low tech. If you had something to spin it on, like a lathe, it'd be great, but we don't. So we're just gonna have to hope for the best. So we're gonna weld this guy in 4 quadrants, tack, 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 kind of help down with the warp, and then do that, and it'll be good to go. And there we go, fellas. 1 drive shaft, all done up. Is it perfect? No. Will it work for us? You bet your bottom dollar. Let's go install this in the truck and see, if it does the thing. All right, so there we go. We got the drive shaft in, and it should, work out. So we put a drive shaft in this guy, and, we threw the battery in. I think it's time to see if this guy can get out of the barn. If we can get out of the barn, then we can proceed, but we only got a couple hours to do it. So, no time like the present. We got a little bit of rushing to do. So, we checked the blood stick, we checked the coolant, all of that is good. Let's see if we can, roll this guy over and back him up. It's gonna be the first start in the last, 8 months, 6 months, something like that. So do you know the old saying, don't overcomplicate things? Well, I overcomplicated it, and it turns out it just needs fuel. The tank was empty. Gosh darn it. Anyway, let me start this guy up. Let's back him out. finally got the crew all back together. Time to clean them up.
This poor old sweetheart is in desperate need of a bath. Let's fix that. We're not going for a full detail, but can we get all the barn dust off and make it shine again? I think so. Let's get at it.
For just a quick brush, you know, and a quick pressure wash, not going in depth on the inside, nothing like that. Got all the dust off, and that's exactly what you want. So now this little fella needs to go down to the fuel station. Toot sweet, because I don't know how much fuel it has now. It's likely not a lot. 460s are hungry little fellas, and there's a couple things that we got to do. We got to do this, you know, we got to do that, you got to do this. But first off, let's just start a rack up. Oh yeah. So one of the things that we have to do is tighten up that alternator belt, because I don't think it's charging. I think it's just burning batteries, so that's why we brought that guy. We made it down to, you know, the old fuel station. Time to see just how hungry is. All right, so time to do a light check here. Oh yeah, she's a good old gal. Turn those suckers on. Let's see what we got for Lumieras. Did they manage to stay alive all winter long? Good, that's good. How about back here? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, so we got at least all the driving light. Got signal on the back, signal on the front. On this side. Signal on that side. Hasn't shut off yet, so must be good for a test drive. Let's go on. Go, fellas, made it back in one piece. That's awesome. So there's still a lot to do on this little fella, but taking him out always marks the beginning of the summer season. Can't wait to keep driving this fella. As for the actual drive, no real problems except the alternator tried to derby off. One of the bolts came right out. Had to do a quick fix here at the barn, and then off I went again. No problems there. Likes to drink fuel, likes to leak oil, but hey, that's the Ford lifestyle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one really, really soon. Hey, see ya.